Hey everybody, and welcome to Dude's Brunch, a podcast about breakfast food and pop culture, but not necessarily in that order. With me, as always, my co-host and arch rival, Tyler Reed. How are you? What did you have for brunch today?
Oh my god, I realized, am I the Vegeta of this group?
Yes.
I like this. This sounds great.
No, I think you're like, I can't think of the character's name, but the kid on Recess that would always like pick fights with all the other kids, even though he was still technically friends with them.
Taylor, we can't do those kind of cartoons. We only do anime. Clearly,
Shut the
rivalry's
fuck up.
own.
What did you have for brunch today?
Alright, so for our post Halloween breakfast, Catherine made it, but I devoured it. She made some gluten-free pumpkin pancakes. Had some sausage. It was very good. Had my black iced coffee as always. There you go.
I dig it.
Man.
I'm gonna skip over Shaun because
What?
for reasons we'll get to in a minute. Our guest this evening, Daniel Whitford. Daniel, how are you? What
Hello.
did you have for brunch today?
I'm doing pretty well. I was actually nursing a pretty righteous Halloween hangover, so I made tacos about 2 hours ago, and that was when I got out of bed. So
Hell
that was
yeah.
my brunch.
Wow.
Yep,
That's
that was
impressive.
my day.
It's 9:30, Daniel.
Yep. I'm an old man. I can't party as hard as I used to, so when I try, that's what happens.
So the Whitford family drinking contest this year is canceled. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This year's. I'll get back in shape for next year.
There you go.
Well, I skipped over Shaun because we had a lovely brunch together this morning
Aw.
at the beautiful Wally Waffle in scenic Talmadge, Ohio. So, Shaun, why don't you tell the people about Wally Waffle and all the deliciousness we had this morning?
Wally Waffle is a place where you can go and get Wally Waffles.
Thanks for the circular definition there, bud.
No, it's a little chain in Akron. They serve breakfast and brunch food. They're pretty good. Really popular with the locals. I think we had to have a little bit of a wait, but when we left, there was probably like an hour wait to get in there. So
Really packed.
it's always busy. Even during the weekdays, it's pretty busy, pretty crazy. So I had the chicken waffles with Dijon honey mustard and potato chips for breakfast.
Whoa.
Potato chips for breakfast, hell yeah. And I had the waffler, which is an omelet stuffed inside of a waffle.
What? Oh my god, that's awesome.
It was great. Eggs, sausage, cheese, and syrup and waffle.
That sounds fantastic.
And of course, coffee.
Oh yeah, and I had coffee too.
It was delicious.
Mhm.
We had some nice quality time with Sean's family.
Oh, cool.
It was lovely. I really enjoyed my trip to Akron this weekend.
There you go.
So let's dive right on into the show this week. We're trying to keep things topical. Last week we talked about Ohio issues 1 and 2, and so now Sean's here to explain to us what the hell's going on with issue 3. Sean,
Okay.
please tell me how to vote.
No. Well, that I cannot do. But I think it's important for people to be informed, so I just want to talk about this. The reason I chose issue 3 to be the last issue that we talk about is because it's kind of like the biggest thing. I pretty much sat on the couch tonight before I got on the show and watched probably 7 ads for issue 3. It was crazy. I can't believe how much money they're dumping on right now. But so I thought it would just get this in the air. So I'm just gonna start with the talking points for the issue 3. So basically, if you know anything about it, it's going to legalize marijuana in Ohio to a certain extent. To a certain extent, like it's not like free reign. But it was created by an interest group, Responsible Ohio. Essentially, what it does is it sets up 10 grow sites in Ohio that will grow, cultivate, and extract marijuana and ship it to its distributors, to sellers around Ohio. all the sellers, all the stores have to be licensed. So it's not like this is going to be unregulated because it is. And there can only be a certain number of stores. That number is 1,100. It legalizes like marijuana infused products. Most common, I think a lot of us know about are like baked goods, like brownies, cookies. They're always talking about like gummy bears and all this other stuff. I don't know how much of that is true, how much of that is kind of a scare tactic. We'll talk about that in a second. And that said, all of these places have to be 1,000 feet away from any kind of, I shouldn't say any kind of, I should say like certain public buildings, including like schools, hospitals, libraries, any place that's like pretty vital to the community as deemed by Responsible Ohio. That would have a big conflict of interest, which is understandable. Interestingly, there is no local or state government laws can prohibit growth or selling establishments in Ohio. Just something to keep in mind. It will also in the bill. It does create what are called incubators, which are pretty much research institutions that are largely surrounded by universities to study how marijuana affects people. Mostly, it sounds like most of it is for medical purposes and using it as treatment more than like, you know, the reefer madness, oh my god. So that's, you know, so there is like some research that's going to go on. And it does create a marijuana control commission to regulate the industry. So there will be oversight over the industry. From the sounds of what Responsible Ohio says, it'll be pretty thoroughly regulated. So what are the pros of this? The pros are there's job creation, there's tax revenue that will be gained. We can use, well, I should say, if it passes, we'll be able to use marijuana for medical purposes. And it's also promised that there will be a tightly regulated industry in Ohio. So it won't just be like willy-nilly running around. Everyone's, you know, the greatest fear of, you know,
mothers everywhere.
Right. So the cons are that it embeds in the Constitution a 10-person monopoly of wealthy individuals. This is pretty much known, pretty stated. There's one of the critiques of it is that it will put children at risk by allowing edibles to be made. This is largely supported by. I mean, it is kind of a rhetorical argument, but the FDA has done studies that show that like flavored cigarettes are used to target children. So I mean, that said, like I don't think this argument is like completely, you know, wrong or anything like that. I think that there might be some truth to this one. And the other worry is that it will flood Ohio with marijuana. One of the reasons that this was said is because 1,100 stores is a huge amount. That's essentially like, I don't know, like what is it, like over about 100? No, not that. There's what, like 12? I don't know. I have to run the math real quick. But there's a lot of stores per county. There's 88 counties. There's 1,100 stores that they can max out to. You know, you're getting like at least 12 stores per county. So that's a lot. So what do we have? Pluses, legal use. Plus is medical use. I guess what we have to think about is like when they talk about the regulatory commission in the bill in the issue 3, it's not very strong. Doesn't really have much backbone. So it's hard to know exactly how they're going to regulate the industry, because the people that will be assigned to the regulatory industry are, I mean, a lot of them are like doctors and lawyers and stuff like that, but it's difficult to know exactly who these people will be because nothing's really been said. It institutionalizes a monopoly again. That's kind of what the issue 2 is kind of prompting on, is that you're getting a monopoly. And like I said, we can't really, the edibles is kind of a sticky issue, and 1,100 stores is a lot.
That was a good little pun. I appreciate
Yeah, that was very funny.
Oh, yeah? I didn't really mean it to be like that, but if you're playing bingo, get on that.
That's right, dudesbrunch.wordpress.com/bingo. Play bingo along with the show.
So general, like, okay, so when I was writing this, if you read my article, there was some questions that I came up with. After reading this, I was like, it doesn't really do anything to address mandatory minimums. Kind of weird, I think.
And for those who aren't familiar, mandatory minimums being mandatory minimum what's the word I'm looking for? Sentences for drug possession. So the minimum amount of time the state has to put you in prison for certain amounts of drug possession, not affected at all by the fact that we're legalizing a drug.
Yeah. The other thing is that there's not really any way to address whether or not marijuana growth, cultivation, and extractors are performing good. Like there's no metrics or anything to tell whether or not they're actually like producing good tax outcomes and whether it's being regulated well. Because we're kind of in a gray area. That's not like that can't be like a bad thing all the time because you kind of have to leave a little bit of room for them to grow. This is a very broad piece of legislation that would be put in the Constitution, an amendment. But one thing that kind of concerns me is that it does take a lot of power out of the hands of local governments to make zoning rules, which is a really big thing for local governments. Just to kind of elaborate on that a little bit more, local governments are in charge of zoning, which is pretty much saying, like, in the simplest terms, like, this is where you can have homes, this is where you can have businesses, and the reason they do this is because it essentially like helps protect citizens. Sometimes it allows for better traffic and stuff like that. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons that they use zoning, and if issue 3 passes, it says that they can't zone. You can't make like a marijuana-free zone anymore. You can't say like, no, you can't put this here. Essentially, it just kind of says like, if this was zoned for business, then retailers can be there. So, just something to think about. And 2, going back to the point where you can't make laws outlawing any retailers or selling establishments. So, that said, after that long little spiel there, I wrote some questions I want to talk about with everybody. So, if you haven't read the article, you probably heard my summary. So, do you have any questions right now? Is there anything that's kind of unclear about what I said? I'd just like to ask that question.
So when you talk about the zoning and not being able to prohibit retailers in certain spaces, this isn't like bars or liquor stores where they have to only be on land zoned for that sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't have a dry county equivalent for marijuana.
Right, exactly. Right. Because essentially what the law says is that if zoning laws will be stuck as of January 1st, 2015. So if it's not zoned for business or like private property as of today, then it can't change. So
Okay. So what questions did you have for us? I know you had some discussion.
Okay, so we'll just move on to the next one. So do you find any of like the arguments that I gave for and against questionable? Anybody?
I think it's very interesting to think about how people are viewing edibles. In light of the kind of things like, that I think they outlawed like cloves, which were like the cigarettes because they tasted good, so they said they were marketed to kids. That's something I had not thought about. Is a question I would have, I guess, on these laws in general is are they similar to other states' versions of like legalizing things, or is this a pretty like unique setup that we're doing?
That is actually a question I don't know. I really haven't looked into any of the other laws.
Yeah.
Because I kind of wrote this like just to kind of explain what was going on. That is a really good question though. I don't really know. But I kind of wonder myself because I don't know, when I look at other states, I mean, clearly Colorado hasn't fallen off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Neither has Washington. You know what I mean? Like, and medical use seems to be doing pretty well. I mean, there might be like questionable claims of whether or not some people really need it for medical purposes, but
yeah.
the world hasn't caught on fire yet.
I think it's like pretty undeniable that we should have medical access to it. I think it is eventually it will be like progressively legalized for recreational use. So I think it's important to look at these things and say like, oh, we're not doing this the right way, or we are doing this the right way, because I think it's going to happen either way. It's just a matter of establishing the rules correctly, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people that I talk to, a lot of my peers are going to vote no on it because of the monopoly part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The 10 big companies, and that's a big. I mean, that's pretty important to consider. It's not just a legalization law; it has all these other tenets to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the part that I filled out my absentee ballot today.
Nice.
And I'm not going to be
Convenient way to vote.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about how I voted specifically, but that was a major consideration for me. And talking to my roommates, they were saying the same thing. Like, that monopoly provision is just really hard to wrap your head around. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to legalize this, but only 10 people can control where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, anytime you say monopoly, I mean, you're like, well, we probably shouldn't let this happen. I mean, it's
That is a good point. The like that strong rhetoric against it. You know, anytime you, like you said, you say that word, people are like, whoa, 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 what's going on?
right. I mean, there could be so many good parts about this, but it doesn't matter if it's like basically just going to put more money in the pocket of the people who already have money. I mean,
Yeah. Which it is kind of what that provision is designed to do.
I mean, it's not like they're not going to try again with something else or do something different. I mean, it's like,
Right.
I mean, how many could they just try again next year, or could someone else just write something else up? I mean, is there like something preventing you from submitting an issue?
Usually, no. You could like present another petition to get on the ballot immediately. It could be on there next year.
It could be on there in spring even.
Right. But that said, a lot of it takes like what the work that Responsible Ohio put in to get this on the ballot was huge. Like countless hours. Probably thousands of people, even more. Years of work to try and get this done. So I think the idea that it would like reoccur quickly, it would be difficult. And two, Secretary of State John Husted has been he's challenged a lot of what they've done to get on the ballot too. So I mean, they've already had a very uphill battle to get where they are so far.
So you're saying that we could see another issue if this fails, but it's unlikely in the short term.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's when we see an issue again, it will be similar in the ways that it will be by like a strong interest group? It'll be like a monopoly-based thing, or do you think voting this down would open it up to other styles of legalization?
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting question. I don't want to make a prediction. That said, I can tell you that how we got casinos in Ohio was largely based on interest groups.
Okay.
Interestingly, I had a really interesting argument presented to me this week. I was talking about it with a friend, and he said 10's better than 1.
I mean, that is true.
He said, think about all the energy companies that provide natural gas and power in Ohio. Can you name 10? Can you name like 10 different phone providers in Ohio?
Right.
Like he kind of said, like, listen, it's kind of everywhere, and like I think another, like, I compared a lot of this to the casinos because I thought it was another thing that was outlawed until it was written into the Constitution. And I was just looking up, and it said this was as of February 27th, 2015, that Dan Gilbert's Rock Gaming has announced that it has reached an agreement to acquire Caesars interest in 2 of Ohio's 4 casinos. So essentially, half of the casinos, 2 out of 4 of them, are owned by Dan Gilbert. That's what I mean. Like, when you think about the numbers of other things that are already like institutionalized in our Constitution, the numbers are really low. 10 is actually pretty high. That said, it is still a monopoly.
Yeah, but then I think, like, how many alcohol makers can I name? Or, like, how many Ohio breweries are there? Like, there are a ton of Ohio breweries.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be looking at distribution companies, I think would be, like, the closest one to that.
Okay, that makes sense.
So then there's 2.
And there's more than 2, but that's an issue that we saw in Kentucky last year, where Anheuser gave a ton of money to push out smaller distributors for various reasons, and a lot of companies had to eat a ton of losses, including Cincinnati's Rheingeist, because they had just opened a distribution plant in Covington, and they had to shut it down. It wasn't legal anymore after like 6 months.
So, I don't know. I just thought that was like a really interesting argument that I considered a lot when I was voting. Because I just thought, like, wow, that's just the more I started looking at that research, I was like, this is really weird now. That really, like, threw me for a loop. I was pretty sure what I was going to say, and then I was like, oh, man, I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah, definitely something to think about.
So did you have another question?
Oh, yeah.
I know we don't want to eat into too much time, but this is really important. I do want to make sure we get through your questions.
So, like, at the end there, I talked about, like, how I guess this is just, like, a personal opinion. I just want to know if you guys agree. I guess what I like to think about alternatives to policies, and, like, especially it's not really a policy as much as it is an amendment, but, like, I just think that there's more that could be done in this issue. You know, like, that's why Taylor's talking about mandatory minimum sentences, and that's why I think it's a big thing, because, I mean, we're kind of saying, like, well, you're good, but only from, like, November 3rd forward. So everything else, if you were convicted in the past of having, like, a possession crime or something, that stays. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do you guys think that there's more that could be done? Is this a good start? Are we in a good place with this?
I guess the really in my head, the big question that I keep coming back to is, if this doesn't pass, does that make it more likely for the next issue that is drawn up to address these things that we want it to?
Right.
Is this, like, the good start, like you said, or will passing this kind of people be like, all right, well, we did it, now we can be done with this, and they won't go further into things like you're describing?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, that's kind of a tough question to answer.
Right.
So I was thinking about this, and I think the good start idea would be interesting. Like, it still is, but I know a guy who was doing some client work for a company out in Colorado, and their whole thing is setting up these mobile growing units. They build them out of boxcars.
Wow.
And so you can move the operation around, you can expand it as your demand grows, and their whole business, I don't think they're even located in Colorado. They're like the next state over. They just build out the boxcar with all of the hydroponic lights and everything, and then have it shipped over. And that sort of business, I think, that sort of innovation and these, like, the marijuana industry is very startup friendly because it's so new, but our legislation is kind of just outlawing all of that except on the retail side. And so I get really nervous about this new start thing because I don't know how much new business this is going to drive in. It seems like it's just going to drive in a lot of tax revenue.
Which is significant, though.
Oh, it is for sure. It's definitely going to help the state out a lot.
And I should interject here that all of the retailers and distributors and stuff are nonprofit. So
Interesting.
yeah, they're
Really?
nonprofit. So
Does that mean
um,
that they pay less taxes?
they did okay. So in the legislation, they did set their own tax rate. They pay 15% tax rate, but all of their profits go towards localities. 55% goes to localities. I think another pretty significant percent goes to like county strong funds, and then another part goes to the state. I'm not really sure on the last two. I just know that for local governments, 55% goes to them. So I mean that's a pretty big. That's why they say it's good on taxes because it really not only is it taxed but you
That's
can't profit.
interesting.
So
That's a component that I'm surprised they're not talking about more.
but 15% a 15% tax rate is actually low
I would
compared to
think
what other
so, yeah.
corporations have to pay.
Hmm.
The tax rate for like distilling spirits and stuff is outrageous. Like 15% sounds super low to me. And that's like a significant part of, the draw of legalizing it is that we can generate so much revenue for the state.
Mm-hmm.
So hearing that it's 15%, that's kind of disappointing for me.
So let's just say it passes. How much can you alter it at all? Like post like it passing? Like how much is there any modification allowed?
That's a really good question.
That's okay. So essentially, since it's a constitutional amendment, you would have to change the Constitution.
It's probably pretty difficult.
Yeah,
Right.
which is it's fairly difficult. It's written in it. So the one change that can happen is I think it's in either 4 or 5 years if the demand is still if it's too high and the 10 growing sites aren't making enough, there can be an additional growing site added. That's about it in
And
terms of
additional
change.
like one.
Yeah, one.
That doesn't sound great to me, to be honest.
Right.
That's why I thought it was interesting to talk about this. Think we needed to talk about this because it is like you're getting there's a lot there's a lot that's going on here. It's not
Yeah.
just saying like we're legalizing marijuana. We're saying a lot.
Yeah. And it is pretty confusing. Like, I feel like I hear maybe not conflicting stories from each side, but like it is very hard to hear like get the information laid out as easily as you have here
Mm-hmm.
because it's just I don't know. The rhetoric of everything has been very confusing on this issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, well,
So-
I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, let's
I want to get other people.
let's end there because I think any further than that, and we're all kind of talking out of our depth. But
If you guys
Right.
like have any more questions and listeners or viewers, if this before the election on Tuesday, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment on our WordPress or like tweet at us or get on our Facebook, and I have the next couple of days off, so I'll be happy to do some research for you and get back to you and try and be fair about this. So
I think just as a final note, I think it's more important to pass the right, like to not accept less. I think it is what I would say. Like because you're only gonna get one shot at this, I would assume, and it feels like if it's not exactly what you want, then it's not worth doing. So
I hear that, and I think there would be ways to do it that would have more ability, less rigid structure to it, so that you could build on it after you understand how the industry works
mhm.
in Ohio.
okay.
all right, so shifting gears entirely, we're gonna lighten things up a bit. I want to talk about something equally complex, but a lot funnier. Everybody by now has seen the 1-800 Hotline Bling video.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where is that the source material for all that?
Yeah.
All right. I actually haven't seen the actual video.
Oh my god.
Shaun, you've watched it, right?
Yeah, no, I've seen it a bunch.
So, if you are not familiar, this is the new music video from Drake, Canadian rapper, singer, actor, formerly of Degrassi fame.
Formerly wheelchaired actor.
Yeah. And the new song was a B-side on a single that he released to further his feud with Meek Mill. And they made a video for this song, which had become sort of popular. And in the video, Drake does some really bizarre dance moves, and the song has blown up. It is everywhere. The video is everywhere. And more importantly, the video is being memed everywhere. The New York Times did an article this week that was titled Drake, Rapper, Actor, Meme. And in it, they include a comment from him where, as they were watching rough cuts of the video, he said, "Oh, the internet is going to tear this apart," or something to that effect. And so what I want to talk about this week is whether or not Drake knows that he's a meme, and if that makes him more or less a meme.
Oh my god, meta meme.
So let's start by saying everybody by now has probably seen a GIF of the Drake meme.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so what's your favorite Drake meme so far that you've seen?
There's one of him with Pepe's face on it, so I'm just going to go for it and say that was it. Just him dancing around with Pepe's face.
I don't know if I have a favorite one, to be honest.
I mean, I would obviously say that anything involving the Cosby Show, I feel like is gonna be my favorite.
Yes, the Aubrey Show theme song
Right.
that was just Drake dancing over the Cosby theme, perfect in my mind.
Okay, this is what I wanted to tell you about, because as soon as I watched that video and I watched that meme, I turned the volume off on that video and I went to my iTunes music collection and I found like the most thrash punished metal song I could find, and I hit play and tried to hit like the video simultaneously to see if it would like work out as well as everything else, and it was all right. It was very synthetic, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, that's been a part of this too, is like hashtag Drake's always on beat or something like that, where you can make Drake dance to any song. Emily, friend of the show, says the Wii Tennis one is her favorite, where it just looks like he's playing Wii Tennis the whole video. Very enjoyable. So how aware do we think that Drake really is of?
I mean, he's gotta
being a
know. I can't like
You
get
can't
away
live
from
in a
it.
world. You can't accept the fact that he doesn't know that he's a joke.
Yeah, he's gotta.
But do you think he knows and anticipates that in his work, or he just finds out about this stuff afterwards? Like one of his handlers comes in and says, "Hey Drake, they did that thing on the internet again."
I'm gonna say no.
You don't think he knows?
No, I think he probably knows. I don't know if he expected it to go as viral as it did, but I think that he has to be totally aware of like the memeability of his likeness in general.
Well, I mean, I think it really just has to start with the fact that he had such humble beginnings, if we're to put it, as a Canadian wheelchaired man in a teen drama. You know, it's like to turn out that he's a non-wheelchaired, completely functional like singer rapper. You know, you're like, oh, okay, you know, but it's like you're still kind of like confused. You're still like picturing like him as that guy, kind of like how you imagine Shia LaBeouf isn't the kid from Even Stevens.
You know in your heart of hearts that it's still him.
You know, after the Don't Let Your Dreams Be Dreams thing, and that's kind of when I was like, okay, he's not Shia LaBeouf anymore. He had to counter his memeability with a new meme.
Just do it, Tyler. Just do it.
That's what made me quit Chipotle. I was deciding whether to quit Chipotle or not, and someone just typed, "Don't let your dreams be dreams." And I was like, "You're right."
Shia LaBeouf was right all along.
To be fair, it's pretty inspirational. If you really just need to like just fucking do something, I mean, it's not a bad thing to watch.
I've never actually seen that. I've never seen any of these, like, the source material for this stuff. I just see, like, what everybody does with it.
Right.
Well, the Shia LaBeouf thing, you don't need to see the source material.
Yeah.
It's just him standing in front of a green screen talking.
Oh, okay.
So, do you think it's disingenuous that people like Drake and Shia LaBeouf know stuff is going to be memed and maybe create things intentionally to do that?
I would say Drake definitely. I would say he probably didn't know right off the bat, and like I feel like a lot of the memes kind of started without him without him being like aware of them, because like Drake, the type of insert anything here, like that's generally insulting, was like a meme of his. It was like from Know Your Meme Says 2011, so that was probably just people on their own just making fun of Drake because.
Wait, how did that meme work?
Drake, the type of, and then the start pillow fights and shit, So it's like it's generally things that are like kind of insulting to like insult like his manhood because he isn't like as tough
As
like
other rappers? Yeah.
Right, because he's like
It's similar to the like shit Drake says or whatever. Where it's like,
right,
man, I just want to go home and cuddle.
right. It's kind of like he's kind of like Kanye in that it feels like he didn't have as like hard of a time, and like his music doesn't reflect like a lot of like struggle as much as others.
Well, yeah, because he was an actor.
I just want to apologize to Kanye West right now. Please don't sue us. We are just a no-name podcast show.
Okay.
Shaun, you have strong opinions about art. Do you think this is...
No, that's why I love this video, because it finally breaks the fourth wall that music videos have struggled to get to so far, is that he wants the audience to enter. I don't care. I don't give a crap about this music video. I actually kind of liked it. I thought it was a good music video, but I don't know. It doesn't really bother me whether he thought about it for or against. I just actually thought it was a cool music video, so there.
What are those girls doing on those stairs? That's what I want to know.
They're just hanging out. They're just having a good time.
Can't women just stand on stairs?
I'm not saying they can't. I'm just wondering, like, weren't they bored? They're just sitting there, like, swaying back and forth.
I mean, they were presumably paid for it, so...
Well, obviously.
I mean, it's okay,
Can a wax robot not take a nap in a wax robot museum?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I mean,
do you think artists should be both memes and artists? Is that okay?
I'm not sure if I fully understand like what that question means.
So like, do you think it's okay to create art knowing full well that your audience is going to manipulate it and turn it into something that you may not have intended it to be originally?
I mean, I think death of the author, that kind of concept of like once you release something, it's just people are going to interpret it however you want or like do whatever they want with it. You just can't control it. So like if you are creating something and then people do with it what you want them to do with it, that's effective art. So if you're trying to be a meme and you accomplish that, good for you.
If he wants them to dance and they dance, then okay.
I mean, I still think that America has yet to wake up to the nihilist undertones of Let It Go. That was Disney's greatest existential work, and everybody has no idea.
That was dark as fuck.
I heard children singing it all day, and I was like, man, this is...
I refuse to talk about that song. or anything involved with it. But if I'm gonna be real for a second, Drake's just dancing. Like, he's just fucking dancing. This is like one of the situations where it's like someone's like, "Oh, he's wasted. He's on drugs." He's like, no, Drake's just having a good time. He's just hanging out. He's like, guys, just let me dance. I don't need to be Usher. I don't need to be whoever dancing queen's going on right now.
Right,
He's just
right.
like, I'm just gonna dance.
How did you come to the conclusion, Taylor, that his dancing was bizarre? There was nothing about that dance that he did
No,
that was
that's
like, whoa.
that's from the New York Times. That's not me talking. They called it bizarre and minimalist.
That's how I dance. So I guess I'm a bizarre minimal dancer.
He wasn't doing your trademark love guns, though, Tyler.
That's true. That's all he really needed.
But yeah, that is
Yeah.
like the only dance move he didn't have.
If he just pops the camera one time, it would have been it. It would have been done. Panties dropped.
So should we just all expect this now? Should everything we create be open to memification?
Daniel's totally right when he talks about death of the author. I just,
Yeah, definitely.
I can't agree with him more.
So
I
every
feel
time
like
we
if you get
publish this
memes-
show, it's just gonna. It has the potential to be whatever it is.
I mean, you
We have to-
you would be lucky to get that kind of exposure. I mean, people memeing your stuff is probably like fantastic for your art,
Right.
because like I probably won't, but people probably see all the memes and they're like, oh, like I kind of want to see the original music video, so then it gets watched like way more than it would have otherwise. I hope I'm a meme someday.
Not to mention that they know your name.
Yeah, exactly.
If you weren't listening to Drake before, you at least know who Drake is now, probably.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Absolutely.
Yeah, so the Hotline Bling music video went up 6 days ago, and it has
Really?
22 million views. The
That's
song
tight.
has been covered by Justin Bieber, Sufjan Stevens. There was a list that I was reading earlier today. It was a large number of very famous people have covered the song already.
That's awesome.
But that kind of feels that's an interesting sort of taboo that I feel like we haven't really talked about a lot just as a society, is that what's the decay of covering a song. You just cover a song someone's brand new song for a brand new album. It's kind of interesting because it started off almost as a joke song, sort of, right? That's what you were telling me.
Yeah, it was just kind of a throwaway.
So, I mean, it feels like that's totally okay. Whatever, you can cover that all you want. But, I mean, because I feel like you also have a really good chance of everyone knowing that it's not your song.
Yeah, well, and that's another point of it, too. I've been wanting to talk about this on the show for a while and just haven't. The new Adele song came out, I think, a week ago on Friday, or a week ago on Thursday. And there were covers of it up by, Saturday. And it's this thing that up-and-coming singers especially want to sing the song that's popular right now, so they show up in the search results and get more page views, which is a good way to get a record deal.
Certainly.
Particularly
also,
in the pop space.
Covering something is there are songs that are just so good that you're like, damn, I wish I had created that or played that. And so then if you cover it, you do get to play it, which is pretty cool.
Right. Or you get to ruin it like Such Great Heights.
Or you can ruin it.
Oh,
Who
man,
ruined
I'll
that
have
song?
to link that in the show notes.
Who ruined that song?
Confide.
I love that cover.
I hate that cover.
I'm not even being sarcastic about that.
So
I would say Amanda Palmer also did, but I generally enjoy Amanda Palmer, but that's okay.
I haven't heard her cover.
I would love to hear that cover.
That sounds great.
It's
Yeah.
not like her fun and energetic version. It's it's a very sad
Yeah.
version. So you're like, oh.
I got nothing against sad stuff.
It's
Okay,
kind
well,
of a sad song.
It is a sad song. Okay, so my last question before we move on. If there were to be a meme of you or a meme of this show, what would you want it to be? Or what would the memes of other people on this show be?
I feel like
You
I
can't think of one for
invent a
yourself.
new meme for myself every like couple of months, so it's like
Yeah, there was a while there where it was the Tyler Reed diet of, what was it?
there's donuts.
Donuts and black coffee?
Yeah, iced tea. It was iced tea at the
Iced tea,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Donuts and unsweet tea.
I have a hat that's just my hat.
The hat.
I don't
I
think
just
that's a meme. I think that's being too lazy to do anything with your hair.
Well, you guys talked about Tyler's love guns earlier. That
Yeah.
would be a great meme. I would love to live in a world where that's a meme.
Just gifs of Tyler doing the love guns.
Probably kiss
I would
kiss.
watch that like way too much.
Anytime anybody called me on my phone, that would be the video that pops up.
there you go, internet. There's a nice
Yeah.
nice smooth GIF for you. GIF.
There it
GIF.
is.
GIF.
I don't know if you saw this, Sean, but I tweeted a picture of a cup of coffee this weekend and
Yeah, I
said,
did.
doing my best Sean Evans impression, hashtag black coffee and sadness. I think that could be, if nothing else, a really great Dude's Brunch t-shirt. But I don't know if it's meme worthy.
Got him.
I think I'm too boring to do any memes. Like I just
That's
don't.
not true.
There's nothing about me that is that exciting.
Except for black coffee and sadness.
There you go.
Maybe that's what it is. The
Stop it.
normcore of memes. My life is super mediocre. Sean.
Normcore, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Sure.
I
don't know, Sean. I feel like you have isms that I feel like could pretty easily like transform into memes pretty easily.
Hmm.
What's an example of a Shaunism?
I can't recall off the top of my head, but
Like things that he says?
yeah, I distinctly remember just like during our I guess our childhood, our prime, that like we kind of like developed our own set of like memes together, like things.
Well, that's
that
how
we see.
in-jokes and like
Right.
slang work.
I'm trying to think. Well, Sean did have the Zildjian hat for a long time.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
So probably something along those lines, probably at that point, but I don't know what it would be at the moment. I don't know.
Well, think about it. We
Yeah.
may bring this up in follow-up sometime, and if
Please
not, the
don't.
viewers and listeners can tweet them in at us and tell us what they gif from our show. I got a really
There
great
you go.
screen cap sent in, Tyler, of you doing the like shrugging shoulders pose from last week's show.
Where? I want to see it.
I'll put it in the show notes. Somebody sent it to me in a private message, but
Oh, worthless.
I'll put it
should
up
be
on the
on social
website.
media.
It will. All right. So let's move on. Daniel, we brought you here this evening as an accomplished local musician to talk
Ooh,
about.
accomplished. That's very generous. Thank you.
I guess, Tyler, this was your idea, but maybe you have a better idea of what you wanted him to talk about. I was under the impression we just wanted to know what it's like to be a local musician in 2015.
Yeah,
Is that about
I briefed Daniel pretty hard. I feel like about what I kind of like wanted out of him. I really just wanted to kind of just see what he had to say about like maybe some of the inside parts of like being a musician that like that we can talk about like actual music and like the music itself, but I feel like sort of like the inner mechanisms of being in a band and cooperating with like five people.
5 people, yeah.
Right. And he's gone through like a lot of different like band member changes and stuff like that, and love and loss and blah 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 bullshit. So I figured he could kind
Yeah.
of talk about that.
So I've been in 2 borderline successful bands here in Cincinnati. A couple of less ambitious projects. The first band that I had any success with was If I Ever See You Out of Town. That was started in October of 2011, and that was like an alt rock kind of thing. heavily influenced by like Modest Mouse, Brand New, that kind of stuff. Maybe kind of. That project started from a Craigslist post, actually. I've had great luck with meeting musicians off of Craigslist. So that started with the lead singer, Matt Villette. He wanted to make a band. And I was looking, I was just out of college, and I was looking to really do anything with music. And so that formed. We brought in a bunch of people that from various walks of life, but that one, what I learned from that band, and to like talk a little bit about cooperation and like scheduling and like trying to get 5 different people on the same page. We had 2 nights a week, and like those were band practice nights, and they're still the nights that I practice, almost 5 years later, or I guess 4 years later. And that's super important because it is so tough to schedule 5 different people's like lives. So if you have like a set night, you just block it off. That's super important.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No, go
that's
ahead.
something that I know we had issues with in starting this project, was like a lot of podcasts and shows like this, they're very free form, and it's like, we'll record whenever there's something to record for, and as long as we get an episode out each week, it'll be fine. So we could do a month's worth of episodes in a whole afternoon, and that just wasn't our system. Like, doing it every single week at the same time really helped us. Did you ever do like the long blitz practice days, or was it always the like small chunks on a regular basis?
We would do, like, if it was before a show or something, or if we were like, mostly for a show, we did. So that band, it broke up, and then we released the album after we were technically broken up. So we wanted to do a reunion show, and so / farewell show.
It's so symbolic.
So like, yeah, for that we did like the marathon kind of thing. We just had a couple practices, pretty long. We just beat the hell out of those songs, kind of like got our skills back up, because we hadn't played those songs in probably like a year at that point. And likewise, I just did the same thing with my current project. We did a farewell album release show, and now actually our album is not yet out, and we're not gonna end the project, so that horribly mislabeled.
You got a sense of urgency there.
Your next show should just be like psych show.
That's not a bad idea, actually. That's pretty good. Yeah, so those kind of like the only times we've done the like marathon practices were after like we hadn't been playing for a while, and so we kind of needed in a short amount of time to get our skills back up. Because with the current project as well, we lost 2 members, and so that was why we were thinking about shutting down the project, and but we actually just recently decided not to do that, which I'm pretty excited about.
Good.
Yeah, our EP should be out by mid-November, which I'm super pumped. I actually had we got the masters back. There were a few things wrong with them, so we had to send 1 or 2 tracks back. But I got like a burned disc out to Anthony Green at the Circus Survive show.
Yeah,
I was telling you gentlemen, and that was a pretty big moment for me, because Circus Survive is a pretty big influence for that project. So it's kind of cool to hand that off to him.
Yeah,
man, I saw them in Cleveland not so long ago, which is
nice.
Sorry, I just want to talk about Anthony Green. I've seen Circa like 4 or 5 times.
Hell yeah.
I love that
They're a
band.
great live show.
And this guy, maybe he wasn't a guy, he was like a kid. He comes up and to Anthony after the show, and he's like, Anthony, I have a tattoo of you on my arm. And it's like Anthony's baby picture, and Anthony looks at him, he's like, yeah, dude, that's really creepy, and I wish you wouldn't have done that. And then he like passes him by, and I was like,
Oh no! Oh, that poor bastard.
That's the worst.
crushes his spirit.
But I mean, is
Yeah.
that just because that's super creepy, or was that like anyone that ever had a tattoo in relating to him ever? I mean, do you
No,
know?
he was talking to a guy who had the album art for Blue Sky Noise tattooed pretty sweetly on his arm, and he was pretty into that. I think it would probably just be creepy, like a baby picture.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like a baby picture.
That's some
and
weird
it was
Yeah,
shit.
it's
really
not even
weird.
like a current picture of him.
I mean,
Ugh.
that, man.
But he is awesome in real life, though. Like he really is. Having met him
Yeah,
sometimes.
he's a super great guy, it seems, and
So,
like such
yeah,
a
like,
talented and
meeting your
hardworking.
influences- That's
You what?
gotta meeting your influences is really like. I know a lot of people aren't into that because they're like the whole kill your idols thing, or they don't want their art to be influenced by other people, so they say they don't have any influences. But yeah,
I
that's
think that's just like I've never actually run into someone who says that, but that I mean it would be impossible.
I
That's
agree.
just
right.
like
Yeah,
a
it is.
ridiculous thing. I did like when I first started playing guitar. I did kind of have that mentality now that I think about it though. So I studied a lot of like I did a lot of music theory work without really learning other people's songs, which I think actually was a mistake in the long run because I had all this knowledge, but I didn't really know. Like I could use it, but it didn't sound like it wasn't very communicative.
Mhm.
Like I wasn't able to like articulate any of myself in it. And so, drawing from influences, knowing like if I do this kind of thing here, it will like hopefully make the audience feel this way or something like that. I think studying other people's art is. I wish I could do that full time. That would be awesome.
that's the dream.
Yeah, it really
I
would
mean,
be.
I mean, that doesn't sound like that far-reaching of an idea. Isn't that sort of just kind of like being like almost like a journalist or like a reviewer or something like that? Because you would just kind of really just engage yourself with that person's like content, and then like, well, specifically, I think Anthony Fantana does a good job of before a review. He's like, here's all the things about this band, in case you didn't know. All right, now here's the album reviews, so you kind of like get a nice flavor for what they're doing. So I think that's
Cool.
doesn't
Who
sound
is
impossible.
That's
What is that?
Anthony Fantano. His YouTube channel is called The Needle Drop.
Okay.
They're the
Cool.
most well-articulated album reviews you'll ever watch.
That is exciting. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Someone has got to have gotten bingo.
Yeah, somebody's had to, if you're not playing bingo this week, we need to rewind this show and do it. If you get bingo, you'll win a handmade prize from one of us. So get it together, people.
But
Handmade
okay,
prize.
so how does it feel to release an album after you've broken up, Daniel?
That was the first full-length album I had done, so I was pretty ecstatic about it. It was certainly tinged with some sadness because I really enjoyed the project. I really enjoyed the music we were making, and thought we were developing a following. But even though it was sad that we weren't going to be pushing the project forward, I was still like I learned so much from that band, and having that album just as part of my life is I'm very proud of it. It's not a like it's a great album. It's not a fantastic album. There's a lot of mistakes in it, and you can tell we were young musicians, not professional level musicians. But I really enjoyed all the writing we did on that. I think it has good concepts, and so even though we were broken up, I was very happy to release it.
Right, and of course, that second half was where it was getting good. It was getting to the.
Yeah.
I was excited to see what the second album was in store for If I Ever See You Out of Town, which, by the way, where'd that come from? Where'd that name?
The name?
Yeah, because you like to name things really long names.
I do. I love long names. If my ideal band name would be like a paragraph, it would just be this long. But I don't think anyone would ever work with me if I tried to do that. So that name came from, I think, some sort of threat where we were telling the drummer to just go to town during this certain part and just really wail on the drums, and the bassist was like, if I ever see you out of town, and we're like, there we are, got it. And we mostly shortened it to If I Ever, because If I Ever See You Out of Town is pretty long, and If I Ever is a little bit more catchy. But I also one thing I do like about having a long band name is it kind of helps you to identify. It makes your fan base how do I articulate this right? So if you hear someone say BT Bam, they are a fan of Between the Buried and Me. Or if you hear what's another good example of that?
The people who do the acronym for The World is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die.
Yeah, there you go. Stuff like that. When you see that, it marks someone as part of that community, and it makes people really feel like part of a community. So I think there is merit in having a long name and then letting people shorten it however they will, because it makes people feel included.
Yeah.
So band goals is I'm not. What was that band name again, Taylor?
The World is a Beautiful Place, comma, and I am no longer afraid to die.
That's an awesome band, by the way.
There you go.
Typically abbreviated TWIABP.
There you go.
I think BT Bam is a perfectly. I think that's the sweet spot for me. I think if you can also make it a word out of it, if you can find a word somewhere in there, I think you're doing well.
Mm-hmm. So my current project is Low, the Loyal Conscripts, Low the Loyal Conscripts, and it's easy to shorten it to Low, or the Conscripts or something like that. So it is nice to have something that can naturally be shortened instead of something like that.
Yeah, that name is unwieldy.
Yeah. But if you are good enough, it doesn't matter. This, we wrestled a lot with changing the name because some people might not get it. Some people it can be a little bit unwieldy. But if your product is good enough, if your music is written well, it's performed well, it really does not matter how long or stupid your name is.
So, Tyler, did you have another question? Because if not,
just keep going.
Wrap up.
If you have questions, go ahead.
Yeah. So I want to get to your topic, but I want to wrap up with this because
you're fine. You can take as long as you want.
So, you've been in a number of different projects, and this is kind of our first joint creative project, the three of us. So I'm curious, what does it feel like when these things end? How do you reconcile that, and how do you move on to whatever the next project is?
That is a super good question. So in the first band, when our lead singer left, he moved out to Seattle. We tried to keep the band going. We found another vocalist for a while, and that didn't really work out. And then we all tried to share vocal duties. So I think because we were young, we didn't want to let go. It was not traumatic, but it was very difficult for us to accept that it was not going to continue. And so that's not an easy thing when you're part of something and it ends, no matter what it is, if it's a band or a relationship or an era of your life, what have you. But I think it is the mark of a mature artist to know when something is done. If you're like, it's like when TV shows or like book series are just like drawn out because like it should have ended and people just couldn't do it. It's
Breaking Bad
better
season 7.
to
Or Dexter season 8, I think it is.
Yeah.
Whatever the
man.
last season of Dexter is.
Yeah.
Most shonen anime.
So it's never easy when it ends. It's always going to be sad, but it's up to you to decide. Like, okay, I'm gonna let this rest. I'm gonna move on to my next thing, and it helps to like look forward to be like, all right, this is in the past, but like I'm still gonna play music.
Mm-hmm. Do you
That's a
reflect
really good
back on
question.
any of that, and do you still think about that time as a positive time for, or do you kind of say like, I would have done it better, or is it a little bit of both?
I definitely think about how I would have played differently in certain ways, but that's only because I've gone through that. It's kind of like growing pains, you know.
Mhm.
I would not be doing everything I'm doing today if I hadn't like been a shitty young musician.
Because sometimes
You learn so much from being bad. Like it's astounding. Not that we were bad. I think it was legitimately good music,
love it.
but like we were not professional level musicians.
and sometimes you go to the fields of Indiana in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
You play to like 20 people that are highly
Friendship,
inebriated.
Yeah. But I mean, I've loved every single gig I've played, even the ones that were like that, because you're up there, you're at the worst gig. Well, that's not true. The worst gig is when you are like really fucking up. But like the worst turnout at a gig just means that you're at rehearsal with your band, really. So I never mind if there's like no one out there. I would prefer it if people were out there.
Right, yeah. We would prefer it if 100 people watched this live stream and
Yeah,
then watched
exactly.
the show during the week, but that's not.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your insight, man.
Thanks for having me on. I'm
Of course.
pretty
So
pumped about this.
we wanted to end with another topical piece, and Tyler changed his topic literally an hour before.
That's all right. That's all right. This is where the drama and memes will start to ensue.
But this is where the shit hits the fan. So Tyler, can you explain what we're doing?
all right, kids. So my topic was going to be talking about how Thanksgiving is stuck between the two titans of holidays, and it never gets the time, like it's spot in the sun. But I figured having it literally the day after Halloween is probably a little inappropriate, so I decided to just make a fucking bracket for Halloween candy. So let's go. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're four of us, so hopefully nothing's a deadlock. And
Rock,
Well,
paper,
so
scissors.
Your response to like the topic of Thanksgiving not getting enough time is to talk about Halloween more?
well, okay, all right.
Is that what your logic is?
What I'm saying is I'm giving Thanksgiving this topic next week, but I figure since Halloween was literally yesterday, and we didn't do any Halloween cover. Well, I guess we did. We did
As
Misfits
we record
cover.
this, but
Right.
yeah, we did the Misfits episode, which we'll link in the thing.
That was a little pretty shaky because it
Right.
turned into
Don't watch that.
a feminist talk piece, but that's fine.
I think it went really well, but
Okay.
go on. Let's talk
Anyway.
about Halloween candy.
But you're right, Daniel. I understand. It's really a lose-lose situation. So anyway,
So what are the
So-
rules? Are there any rules?
basically we're just gonna argue about it, and we're gonna do a vote. I guess with hands. I don't fucking
Okay.
know.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
hopefully
That
there's no
sounds good.
deadlocks.
Is there a
and
rhyme
then-
or reason to these matchups, or did you literally just put them in randomly?
I found another bracket, and then they randomized the choices they had in that bracket, which I felt like were pretty accurate, like mainstream, like Halloween candy
I
categories.
only like obscure Halloween candy.
I'm
Right.
sorry, buddy. You only like
Yeah.
those weird Tootsie Roll flavors that you literally, for some reason,
Hey,
only have at
hey,
Halloween.
hey. Don't make fun of lime Tootsie Rolls, okay?
Those are my favorites,
Those
so
deserve-
I don't know. I'm not talking
Yeah.
shit.
I'm all about the blueberry ones.
All right. Hold on. We can talk about this in like literally like 3 matchups. Okay. So, all right. So Group 1, Candy Corn versus Nerds. Then in the second group of Group 1 is Twizzlers versus Three Musketeers. Then Group 2, Tootsie Roll versus Sour Patch Kids. Then Dum Dum Suckers versus Reese's. Group 3, on the east side, we got Snickers versus M&M's. Then Skittles versus Butterfinger. Then Group 4, Starburst versus Twix. And Kit Kat versus Smarties.
We're gonna put this on
We'll
Twitter
have
or
the
something, right?
image on the website
Right.
for people. Tyler will tweet it from his account, and I'll retweet it right now for live viewers.
Okay.
I do have to say, I feel like some of these matchups are a little bit weird. Like, I feel like Snickers and Three Musketeers would be like more comparable, and like M&Ms and Skittles. But
That's
just
right,
my 2
Daniel,
cents.
and that's what a random seed is. It's like you're really playing the NBA.
Do you
All right.
know? Oh my gosh.
That's literally what the point of it is that sometimes you just get fucked. Like you get the Pokeyokes 3 scores versus the NBA Titans, and then you get screwed first round. Anyway, so the first category, while I'm uploading this tweet, we have Candy Corn versus Nerds. Fight.
Okay, let's get real. Can anybody actually eat more than like 4 pieces of candy corn in a sitting?
I can't even
I
look
love
at it.
candy corn.
Are you for real?
Yeah, I get so excited when candy corn goes on sale.
Ugh.
It doesn't taste like anything.
It's sugar. I mean, these are all really the same things.
Not
It is
true.
pleasing
Not-
to my palate.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, nerds are a pain in the ass. They're super messy. They get everywhere. Every time you open them, they just like explode all over your house or your car.
How do you open Nerds? Like,
I think Nerds Blizzards were awesome, but like outside of that, Nerds, I don't know. They're I can't eat a whole box of Nerds.
That's a really small box, Daniel. Come on, buddy.
I don't like any of these.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
talking
when you
about
get the big
like,
boxes, yeah, no.
the dual-sided, like,
But if we're talking nerds, we're also talking nerds ropes.
oh, Nerds ropes are
No,
those things are the shit.
don't bring that in here. Don't contaminate
dope,
the
dope.
bracket.
Are we
So
allowed
no
to bring in
variants.
alternate forms of the candy? Is that
No,
fair?
you have to take the sample size that you would get for Halloween. You can't contemplate about like
That's what-
Hey man,
what
I got
I'd
nerds
say.
ropes for Halloween.
all right.
Okay, all right.
Really?
Yeah, they have like little tiny ones now.
Damn, I'm gonna go trick-or-treating where you live.
Well, it's
But,
in Amelia,
okay.
so you
But
know
for
you might want to put on your gas mask and have an armed escort. But
For simplicity's sake, we're
All right.
going against grape versus strawberry. And fuck grape. Fuck it every time. I'm gonna say no
Ditto,
to grape
dude.
every time.
yeah, the
And-
grape ones taste like cough syrup.
Artificial grape flavoring is not like, I don't know who decided that it tastes like grape, but it's not great.
And I would say that candy corn is good because it's a very specific flavor that you only have at a specific time. If you eat it at any other point, you're ruining the nostalgia, I guess. It's like a Cadbury egg.
we are not about to deadlock on this first one. There is no way.
Listen, we gotta call
We're
a
gonna
vote.
do a time limit on each round,
Right.
and we're gonna vote.
Right.
So we'll do like a 2-minute argument
All
for
right,
each one, and then vote.
cool. All right, so what's I think we've had enough deliberation. Let's go ahead and let's do. All right, candy corn. Oh, we're gonna have a
Yeah,
deadlock.
we're gonna have to speak it out loud. So Tyler and Daniel vote candy corn. I vote
Yes,
nerds.
I vote Nerds. We should do rock paper scissors. Winner moves on. So this
Twitter,
time,
you need to get in here. You need to vote. Actually, you know what? No. Maybe we should announce the winner next week.
no.
No,
We're doing
that's
it
too
now.
long. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's way too fucking long. It's already over.
All right, Tyler, I'm rock paper scissoring you on this. You
Okay,
ready?
and we're doing on shoot.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Scissors.
Scissors,
Scissors.
scissors.
Shit.
All right.
Oh no!
Rock, paper, scissors. All right, let's go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah, nerds get it.
Paper
Alright,
covers rock.
Nerds get it.
Move on.
That's fine.
All right, what's our next matchup?
All right, it is Twizzlers versus Three Musketeers.
All right, let me wake my phone up.
Three
Deliberation.
Musketeers.
2 minutes.
Is this like the just the traditional Twizzlers? Or
Oh
like
yeah,
pull
valid
and
question.
peels?
Or the pull and eat things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
If it
Pull and peels are pretty dope.
right, regular licorice,
Yeah. They're just kind of like boring.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
Three
like
Musketeers is kind of like the most boring chocolate bar.
ooh, but
I
it's
mean, I
so
like Musketeers.
I like
fun.
it, but there's nothing to it.
it's nice and soft. That's the satisfaction. It's a nice.
Yeah, but if you get one at the beginning of Trick or Treat, then like all your other candy lands on top of it and it flattens. You know I'm right. Everybody's seen a flattened Three Musketeers bar.
Right, but we're also arguing against like a red piece of shit. So I mean, it's like
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go for Three Musketeers on this one.
yeah, me too.
all right, Three Musketeers it is. No vote.
All right.
All right,
So they just Three Musketeers just carries it, and we move on.
yep.
What were you
Right,
gonna
next.
go for licorice?
All right, so now we're going Tootsie Roll versus Sour Patch Kids.
So
Go.
are we talking like the flavored Tootsie Rolls or just like straight brown Tootsie Roll?
I'm allowing to, because you specifically only get the other flavors at Halloween time. I feel like I've only eaten the other flavors during that time period, and no other time. So I
Yeah.
would say yes.
Okay.
Sour Patch
I
Kids.
really like those flavors.
Yeah.
I think I'm more leaning towards Tootsie Rolls because they come in various different sizes, but you always get a Tootsie Roll, and you know what to expect. With Sour Patch Kids, like, if you get them on Halloween, they give you a little tiny baggie that maybe has like 2 of them in there, and you don't want to eat just 2 Sour Patch Kids. That's not how those work.
And it's also a notorious movie snack, I would say. I would say it's not a Halloween candy, it's definitely a movie time candy. This is what I would say. Tootsie Roll, epitome of Halloween candy.
Shaun, you seem nonplussed by this matchup.
No, Tootsie Roll is my favorite candy ever.
Whoa.
The brown one?
Yeah.
No
What?
comment.
Yes.
That blows my mind, dude.
Okay, why?
It's great. No, it's like everybody was saying. Like I like the flavor ones. Don't get me wrong. But I could eat Tootsie Rolls all the time, every day. You know what you're getting from it. They're nice and sweet. Like that's what I mean. It's just like a classic candy that's really good. I associate them with like happiness and childhood. I always had them. We had them a lot growing up. So yeah, I like them.
All right, let's
That
vote.
is a strong endorsement, dude.
I vote Tootsie Roll.
Tootsie Roll. All right.
Tootsie Roll.
Is that a sweep? Oh
That's
my
Tootsie
god.
Roll.
Get wrecked, Sour
Well,
Patch
we
Kids.
had to sweep it with Sean's Don Draper endorsement over here.
No. But okay,
This
so
candy is
actually, when
childhood
we talk
and
about the next
memories.
one, though, the next one's gonna be pretty epic. Like Tootsie Roll versus whatever's next.
Yeah.
Those two are classics.
All right, what do
Well-
we got?
All right, so we have Dum Dum Suckers, or just a generic. Should we say generic sucker, or should we specifically say Dum Dum?
Yeah, Dum Dum.
Okay,
Dum
cool.
Dum Suckers
Against
versus-
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Oh,
I feel
snap.
like this is
Go.
obvious.
Like,
This
if
is-
this was Sour Patch versus Dum Dum, Sour Patch would have made it to the fucking finals. It would have got fucking
Dum Dums are
carried.
boring. They're like filler candy.
But Dum Dums are the candy. The
No.
reason they're filler
No,
candy
no,
is
no,
because
no.
they're the candy.
No, Reese's is the Pope of candy.
I was devil's advocating. I think Dum Dums are a classic. They've been around forever. But yeah, at the end of the day, you can't not eat a Reese's.
I would have probably
Reese's are
picked Dum
awesome.
Dum over Nerds.
Yeah.
Really?
There's
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
wouldn't have.
categories. I think there's some I would have just nailed. Dum Dum didn't have. I think Dum Dum got put up against a big opponent. I
Yeah, it
don't
was
think-
like number 10 seed versus number 1.
yeah.
Wow, since we know this is going to be a sweep, what are our favorite flavors of Dum Dum?
There's that blue raspberry one. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Is there a
Those are like-
watermelon? I feel like
There's a watermelon.
no. Oh yeah, I think blue raspberry it was the special one. It was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it was so special.
but I was like,
Cream
this.
soda.
Yeah,
I
Shaun.
know.
Cream soda. That's my favorite.
I don't know. I always like that one.
I mean, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that's a good front runner.
I think cherry was probably the worst,
Oh, cherry was the worst.
which
Nobody
I
liked
would
the
never
cherry
say
one.
about a lot of other candies.
Do they have a grape version?
Probably.
And it
probably
probably
is.
tastes like shit.
I have to have it.
Yeah.
Catherine, Reese's the Pope of candy.
Shaun Evans, 2015.
Woo!
All right, what's next, Tyler?
It's
All right.
Group 3.
We
Alright.
swept it.
Woo.
Let's
All right,
move on.
so we got Snickers versus M&M's. We're going classic M&M's, and then there's only one type of Snickers. I don't care what you say.
Ready, set, go.
I like both
Okay.
of these candies, but
Wait,
I don't
is-
feel strongly about either of them.
Yeah.
Mm,
So, but just to make sure, it's classic M&Ms and regular Snickers, plain Snickers.
I'm willing to say peanut M&M's is acceptable as well.
Oh, then M&Ms.
Peanut M&Ms
You're
are
accepting
pretty
peanut, but not peanut butter?
I don't know. Is that standard? Is that kosher?
Yeah, it's pretty standard.
But that's like saying, but if peanut butter Snickers was in the mix, I love them peanut butter Snickers. They're good.
Peanut
The
butter
thing about
Snickers?
Snickers is like, Snickers are so filling.
It's a good ass candy bar. I mean,
It is.
you
It
eat
is
it,
a
and you're
good
like,
candy
I'm not gonna have lunch for like another hour because I'm in high school or in a college class, so I gotta
Yeah, you go get a Snickers.
Yeah.
You don't get a payday because fuck that shit. You get a Snickers.
right. You're definitely not getting a Three Musketeers. You're like
That's like
this
minor league candy.
Like I said, I think these are both strong candies, but I don't know. I really just don't feel strongly about them.
Oof. All right.
But
well,
M&M's, they melt in your mouth and not in your hand.
Okay. If I had to choose, I'm gonna go with Snickers, and the reason is because with the M&Ms, you open up the bag, you dump it all in your mouth. With the Snickers, you have to take 2 bites,
That's true.
and I like the longevity.
Wait, so
You
hold
just
on.
dump all the M&Ms in your mouth? You know, like
Yeah.
eat them one by one?
No.
You do make a sphere of chocolate though in your mouth, and that's
Have I
kinda
been
sad.
doing this wrong?
You either one bite. No.
You eat your M&Ms one by one?
Yeah.
I sometimes do. I mean, I take maybe 2 or 3. You know, I don't.
Okay. If you're eating a full-size bag of M&Ms, that's okay. But a
Right.
fun size?
That's where
fair.
you draw the line.
All right.
Yeah.
So for
That's
clarification,
time we gotta vote.
are we talking about all M&Ms or not? What do we specify?
Let's do the classic 3.
Classic.
Regular
yeah.
Oh,
peanut butter.
Ooh, all right. Okay. Fuck.
I'm going to
Daniel?
abstain from this one.
Oh.
Well, that
Is
makes
that,
it
is
easy.
that legal? Is that
Yeah, it's
okay?
fine.
No, that's fine. Sean's going
Alright.
Snickers.
I'm gonna go with Snickers.
This is I can't okay, all right. If it's
That's-
all the M&Ms, okay, I gotta say Snickers. I'm down with Snickers.
That's the face of consternation right there. I'm gonna go ahead and say Snickers as well.
Oh my god. Okay, thank God.
Sean's 2-bite argument really swayed me.
I was gonna be upset if you said M&M's, Taylor, because then I would have felt.
I
M&Ms
would
are
have
as many
until
bites as
Sean
you want
mentioned
them,
that,
though.
that you take 2 bites. That is the best part of a Snickers.
It's true.
All right,
All
what's
right.
next?
We got Skittles versus Butterfinger. We'll do
Go.
straight Skittles, straight Butterfinger. Both classics, both titans of their genre.
Okay,
Yeah.
Butterfinger.
Butterfinger hurts my mouth. It's like eating wood
What?
chips.
No. Shut your mouth. Butterfinger
Yeah,
is
no,
the original
I don't like
Simpsons
Butterfingers either.
candy. That's why I
That's
love
the
it.
only thing it has going for it.
Wait, what
It's
is
like a good endorsement.
Yeah, Bart Simpson, come on.
But it like
It's not
breaks
good, though.
apart and cuts your mouth open.
That because it's peanut butter bar covered in chocolate.
I feel bad for this category. I feel like Butterfinger could have.
I'm serious. Like, I'm not a huge Skittles person, but the red and purple Skittles alone are enough for me to vote them over Butterfinger.
That's well.
It's
What's
so hard to eat.
pause
if-
on that purple?
Okay. What would you rather do? Eat a Butterfinger or eat a bag of only orange Skittles?
Only orange.
No.
Only orange. Duh.
Oh, gross. I
I
hate
love
the orange
orange.
Skittles.
The orange? Why?
Yeah. I hate lemon and the green, which I assume is like apple.
I don't dislike any of them.
Actually, no, wait, no, it's green and purple. That's what it is, because there's purple in there. I hate those.
Yeah, purple's grape. Green is green apple?
Yeah.
Someone
My next-
use the internet, figure it out.
My next question is, Daniel, do you eat your Skittles one by one?
I will tell you how I eat Skittles. I take them and I smash them in my fingers so that the like inside comes out of the like hard shell a little bit, and then I like eat them. So
One
yes,
by
one at a
one.
time.
You
One
Frankenstein.
at a time, and very particularly.
Wow.
Do you separate them out by color?
No. I'm not that diligent.
See,
I feel like when I
Skittles
get
are
to
the
the
only
bottom-
candy I do that with, and I'll like group them. So I'll eat all the reds and purples together, and all the oranges and yellows.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, you gotta get the good flavor with the shitty flavor, so you can combine them together, and so you don't ever lose that on value.
All
All
right, let's vote.
Skittles.
Butterfinger.
Skittles.
Skittles.
Skittles takes it. Sorry, Sean.
It's okay.
All right.
What's
Starburst versus Twix. Let's go.
Let's argue.
Twix is quite possibly one of my favorite, from like a few years ago. I love Twix so much. But I don't know.
Okay.
I really like Twix.
Yeah.
The two best
But
things about
Starburst?
Twix.
Oh,
There
sorry,
are two
go
of them. Done.
I mean,
The
that's
ultimate
true.
Twix
No,
are
okay,
two candy bars of them.
So thinking about this, I'm gonna vote Twix. I love Starburst a lot, but that said, I can promise you that a majority of the times I've opened up a Halloween fun-sized Starburst, it has been orange yellow, or orange or yellow.
Yeah.
Never can I remember a time where I've opened it up and had it been red or pink. Never.
Double pink. That would be awesome. That's elusive. Yeah.
Yeah, you never get
I
a
would
double
say,
pink.
though,
I've gotten red
like-
pink before, but never double pink.
There is not a more perfect piece of candy than pink Starbursts. So just the fact that they're out there, even though I love Twix, I'm gonna have to go with Starburst on this.
Oh man, this is like literally pairing like two of my favorites against each other. Why couldn't we
It's a
throw?
good matchup.
We should have thrown Dub Dubs into the fire. Fuck those guys.
No, I think there are two Twix. They're good regular. They're good if you freeze them. They're just good. It's a good
Have
candy.
you guys ever roasted Starbursts over
No.
fire?
Mm-mm.
No.
It is dope.
Wow.
You should try
I'm
it.
intrigued.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I keep thinking about the 2-pack though. That's what's gonna fuck Starburst in this competition right now.
You don't like the 2-pack?
I don't like it. If I
That's
had
fair.
I had a
You're
full
more of an
package,
East Coast guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really.
He does right.
All right, let's vote.
So just for clarification, we're going with the typical fun size of Starburst, right?
Yeah, everything is fun size tonight.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then there's not 2 Twixes.
There's like one.
What? Oh, I'm still voting Twix.
Starburst.
All right. I'm Starburst.
Damn. I'm gonna say Twix. I want to know what I'm getting.
All right. So it's a tie.
All right, let's have Sean and Daniel do this one. Since
Yeah,
we did
no,
the
I'm-
last one.
I'll go
All
and
right,
shoot,
if we're
Daniel.
gonna do rock paper scissors, we got to do best of 3. Go on, shoot, no stopping in between.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
Daniel
Rock.
knows it's rock, paper, scissors.
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
That was rock, scissors, Sean.
That was rock.
Daniel, sorry.
Double rock.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock again.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
This game's fucking imbalanced.
Did you do
Alright.
paper?
I did paper, yeah. It's
Okay.
1 and 1. All
Scissors, paper, Sean.
right. Yeah.
Ready?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock,
Damn.
rock.
Rock. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh! That's
Rock,
like
Alright.
paper, scissors.
All right.
Starburst
Starburst
wins.
heading on. All right,
The
what's
only
next?
contest where you can
Just a
hear
little bit of science here. This is
rock,
probably
paper,
the worst
scissors.
game to pick to play over the internet.
Yeah.
All right, we got Kit Kat versus Smarties.
Go.
Kit Kat.
I don't.
Kit
Duh.
Kat.
Once again, Kit Kat, you get two of them.
I don't care about either of those candies. They don't
the
do it for me.
the only
Smarties
reason I
have to
might
be the
pick
worst.
the only reason I might pick Smarties is because of at 2K21 Seniors, which we talk about on the show a lot. The Twitter account of fake seventh graders who talk about snorting Smarties.
They're just like hard pressed pixie sticks. Is all
Which is
they
also
are.
like Necco wafers, which are also similarly not
Wow,
great.
they are
No,
not.
no.
What?
That's a disservice to Smarties.
Wait,
Necco
Yeah,
wafers have
they're
no
not that bad.
are we talking about Smarties or Sweet Tarts?
Smarties.
Okay.
Yeah, sweet tarts are the candied ones, the one with the coating on the outside with the different flavors. Those would
Okay.
get a lot more points.
Yeah.
That would be a contest. This
Okay.
is
No,
not.
Kit Kats then.
Yeah. All right. We all say Kit Kat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get wrecked, Smarties. All right. So now we're on to the semifinals. All right. So
All right, let's do
round one, we have Nerds versus Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeer.
Fight.
All right, go. Yeah, Three Musketeers, no contest. Because nerds, fuck them. I mean, they're-
Yo,
I'm gonna say fuck nerds too.
yeah,
I'm actually gonna vote for nerds now that I think about it.
okay.
I like nerds.
There's not really a whole lot to say because it's either you like chocolate
Or you
you
don't.
Yeah. But actually, for looking at it, we have Nerds, Three Musketeers, Tootsie Roll, Reese's, Snickers, Skittles, Starburst, Kit Kat. We have a pretty good split between sweet and chocolate, or
Yeah.
like the fruity
Cool.
and the chocolate. So there's good
Well,
representation here.
We had a 3-1 vote. Three Musketeers won. So
Yeah.
that finishes that one out.
All right.
What do we got next, Tyler?
All right, we got Tootsie Roll versus Reese's.
Go.
Flavored Tootsie Rolls. I'm backing them hard.
We have the Pope of candy versus like the Kobe Bryant of candy.
That's not even comparable.
Do you like basketball? Or do you like Jesus? Take your pick. Drawing the line to say it.
I'm gonna have to go from the left to the left to the right to the right and keep with the Tootsie Roll.
Woo.
I hear that.
This is
hurts
hard.
me so much. I gotta say,
You're saying Reese's?
yeah, Reese's.
You know, here's my thing. I like Reese's a lot, but I think they've been getting a little undue press in the last couple of years. They've become like the cool candy to like. And I think Tootsie Roll's a classic. I think it's timeless. I'm going Tootsie Roll.
That Tootsie Roll.
Is that 3-on-1?
That's 3-on-1.
All right, cool.
Okay. If this was Easter candy, Tootsie Roll world champion. I mean, sorry, Reese's Egg world champion.
Reese's, that's
would've
right.
been
But this is Halloween, and you
Right.
know what? I almost regret saying Reese's because you're right. There's nothing special about the Reese's in Halloween.
It's the eggs at Easter that are the best ones.
Right. All right. So we got the East Coast. We got Snickers versus Skittles.
All right.
Snickers.
Snickers, you can eat it in 2
Yeah.
bites. It's a meal.
You're really pushing that 2-bite plan, man.
Shaun won me over. I mean, how many college kids have you seen with like a king-size Snickers and a 20-ounce Mountain Dew in class, and that's their dinner?
Oh God.
I don't know. I love Skittles is good. Skittles is. I don't know if Snickers is my good. Fuck it. You know what? Maybe it is. Maybe Snickers is my go-to candy bar.
I can't deny you, baby. I love you.
If this would have been most other candy bars, if this would have been Butterfinger, I would have said Skittles, no question. But I think I'm gonna have to go with. Wow, chocolate's doing really well right now.
Yeah, chocolate's making its.
Fuck.
So Snickers moves on.
Yeah,
Is it a 3-on-1?
yeah.
Sorry, bud.
No one likes Skittles. Fuck.
No one likes Skittles.
Wow, this became a chocolate bracket right here. Wow. All right, Starburst versus Kit Kat.
Starburst.
All right, Starburst. Let's do it.
I
Gotta
was gonna
start
say Kit
repping
Kat, but I guess
chocolate.
I'm ruled out. All right, fine.
That's good. We got our fruity representation going. All right.
There we
So we
go.
got West Coast Finals, Western Conference Finals.
Right. All right. So we got Three Musketeers versus Tootsie Rolls. No
Tootsie
question.
Rolls. Tootsie Rolls.
Correct. Three
Yeah.
Musketeers.
Sorry, Three Musketeers. You had a good run.
We had a run-of-the-mill candy bar. Three Musketeers.
Oh,
is,
dude. You know what the finals are going to be. That's going to have to be like debated out hardcore.
All right. So we're saying Tootsie Roll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Tootsie Roll.
So we know how this is gonna go down.
All right.
Yep.
Snickers versus Starburst.
Starburst.
All right.
Wait, hold on.
Tyler?
So we have two Starburst? Oh my God, I don't know.
Tyler, don't you do this?
And Taylor's 2-bite rule still applies to Starburst because you got two.
Oh no.
So you can totally throw out his logic right here.
Oh my God, this is okay. We have to think about what is the ideal Halloween candy. Is it gonna be Snickers, which you're gonna get a little piece of shit of, which is you're gonna eat it, or you get the Starburst, which you're probably gonna get some shit roll, and you're gonna get the ones that you don't want. And
You might get the ones you don't like, but you're always going to open it because there's a chance. There's a chance you're going to get.
is this like a pack of Pokemon cards?
Quantum
It
candy.
is like a pack of Pokemon cards.
Oh,
Here's the thing. How many times have you thrown away the Starburst you didn't want?
Never.
Never, ever.
I do. I throw away the ones I don't want.
What? You're a madman.
This is too much pressure.
I like
throwing
knowing
away Starburst over there.
Catherine, for the record, Tootsie Roll and Reese's are both gluten-free. Thank you, Catherine.
Oh.
You know what? I think I gotta say Starburst for Halloween.
Man. Fine.
Halloween.
All right. Now this last matchup, this is tough.
No question.
All right, we got
Really?
Tootsie Rolls versus Starbursts. This is all flavors of both.
Right. All right. So you got Tootsie Roll. You get the bigs. You got the littles. You got the different
long, skinny
flavors.
ones.
Yeah. I think it's no contest that no matter what you're gonna get of a Tootsie Roll, it's probably gonna be pretty good. You have the unique flavors that you probably only get at Halloween, and then the bite size or the fun size isn't hindered. Like it doesn't take away any of the value of it. Like a Tootsie Roll is a Tootsie Roll. It's a perfect bite every time. A Starburst, you're just getting fucked because it's a little package. You don't get the full roll, and you could get the ones you don't even like. Tootsie Roll gives you exactly what you want every single time.
Yeah, you have a 25% chance of getting the Starburst you want.
I'm gonna have to agree with.
But the risk reward, it's like there's a 25% chance to get the height of candy. Like the best Pink Starburst is like, oh my god. I don't know. You just the fact that they're out there, I think I have to go Starburst.
God, this is okay.
Tootsie
So
Roll.
I don't like doing math to eat candy.
Yeah, he doesn't want to gamble to eat his candy. He wants what he wants every time.
I totally see where Daniel's coming from, and I completely agree. There's something that's like pretty awesome about the Russian roulette of candy.
Fuck.
But at the same time, I mean, I think I said it with Tootsie Rolls. Like, it's my favorite. It's a classic. I don't know if you guys know this Tootsie Roll fact, but they like put a Tootsie Roll from the day before in the next day's batch, and they've done it since the first day they started making Tootsie Rolls. So realistically, every Tootsie Roll you eat could have a little bit of the first Tootsie Roll ever inside of it.
Wait, what? How? Wait, say that again?
They ever since the first one, they put in one from the day before, like a little one.
When they're mixing it?
Yeah, when they're mixing the new batch.
Oh, okay. Whoa,
So-
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a pretty sweet candy.
It is good. I mean, these both deserve to be in the finals, definitely. But
But
there's
that
Pink
said,
Starburst.
the winner is Take 5.
Oh, what?
Take 5.
Candy bar. Get out of here.
I fucking love Take 5.
Nope, actually.
Can I grandstand for a second about how much I love Take 5? Take 5 is the best candy bar. It's every other candy bar shoved together. It's got peanuts, peanut butter, nougat, and pretzel.
Actually, guys, it's
Pretzel isn't
Mr.
in-
Goody Bar. Mr. Good Bar is the Halloween candy of champions.
Get the fuck out of here, Mr. Good Bar. You go home to Mrs. Good Bar and have a decidedly quiet 1950s life.
All right, wait, hold on. Take 5. Take 5 is the one that has everything in it, right?
Yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
the. Oh, but that's not. Listen,
None of these are in the finals, all right, guys?
much like a fun
Keep your eyes
size
on the prize.
Tootsie Roll. It doesn't matter if it's fun size or not. It doesn't hinder the experience. Starburst is hindered by the fun size.
I'm gonna say Tootsie Roll.
Tootsie Roll.
Tootsie Roll. Get wrecked,
Damn.
Daniel.
Oh, all right.
That's right,
Daniel
ladies and gentlemen.
Daniel fought so hard though, so definitely he didn't go down without a fight.
Yeah, I'm
There
gonna
you go.
go eat all my pink Starbursts.
Do we have any honorable mentions for Halloween candy that didn't make the bracket besides Take 5?
The honorable
Razor
mention
blades?
for
There you go.
the honorable mention for candy that your parents never wanted inside their house. Fun Dip.
Oh yeah, Fun Dip's awesome though. It takes all of the frills out of candy. And it's just like, here, kids, this is sugar. Eat it.
All right, honorable dismention. Dots. Fuck those guys.
I was gonna say that's my
Yeah.
next question. What's the worst thing that you always got on Halloween? It was the worst.
They're way too chewy. All the flavors suck, and they get stuck in your teeth so hard. It's
I got a rock.
yeah.
What?
It's from the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Charlie
I
Brown
thought
always
you
gets
somebody
rocks.
literally gave you a rock.
Not me.
Now and laters are also pretty high on my things I don't want for Halloween.
What?
I like now and later.
Yeah. What the fuck, hater? Come on.
I always ended up with the watermelon ones.
They're chewy, then they're hard. You're like, ooh, I get the. It's an experience. You go through so many things all at once.
Shaun, do you have an honorable mention?
No, I have an honorable dismention. I have a tie actually between bottle caps and nickels.
Um,
I had a neighbor that gave out nickels every year.
Nickels?
Yeah,
Not
That's
candy,
weird.
just literal nickels.
literal nickels.
Mm.
it's fucking
Wow.
disgusting.
Yeah, that is kind of gross.
Keep your
Putting
dirty money
in
out of
there
my
with your
candy.
Candy? Yeah.
Daniel, honorable mention from you?
I don't know. I'm just really thinking about those pink Starbursts now. I can't get them off my mind.
Well, while you're trying to think of that, we're going to go ahead and round out the show with our shameless plugs.
All right.
Starting with the panel. Tyler, shameless plugs this week.
Hey, what up? All right, so my social anxiety level is House Cat shirt is in its final stages of production and will probably be out before the next episode. So you can check that out on our Redbubble, which has the URL has escaped my mind at the moment. But
You can find it on our website on the merch tab.
there you go. You can find my work at tylergreed.com. You can find me on Twitter at TDRDesign. Hit me up. Let's talk.
Nice.
Yeah. Shaun?
If you want to read my articles again before go to the polls, please do. I don't know. Well, guess we'll just have to see what Wednesday brings. It'll be an exciting day. That said, I'm on Twitter at Evans_murge. Whatever. That's
it.
about it. I don't really have anything else to do this week.
Whoa, what are you doing after this?
Oh yeah, I should say that. Tyler and I are going out to go to a huge rave. We're gonna. No, I'm just kidding. We're doing. Shaun doesn't play. Check it out. There'll also be strobe lights and deep house.
That's
So
We're talking about Bastion today. Yay!
All right, and
Cool.
Daniel, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was great having you.
I really appreciate it. Thank
That
you.
was.
My band is Low, the Loyal Conscripts. It's a post-hardcore, post-rock band. You can
Dream
find us
prog,
on
apparently.
Facebook. Yeah, I don't know who wrote that. I think that's funny as hell, though. Dream prog. You can find us on Facebook, Bandcamp, Twitter, that kind of thing. Low, the Loyal Conscripts. Check it out. Thank you.
Right on. And you can find me on Twitter at TC Olmstead. You can find the show on Twitter at DudesFrunch. If you like the show and you want other people to know about it so that you can stop being that weird person at parties, you should give us a review on iTunes. It really helps other people find this show. Other than that, thanks, and we'll see you all next week for more brunch.